Hello students, hope you all are well. Students, today we are going to discuss chapter Boli from your book Footprints Without Feet. Chapter Boli is written by Khwaja Ahmad Abbas, also known as K.A. Abbas. He was an Indian film director, screenwriter, novelist and a journalist in the Urdu, Hindi and English languages. In this chapter, he is talking about a child named Sulekha. She was a simpleton in the beginning, and later, due to her achievements, she became a hero. And the story teaches us a beautiful lesson. What does it tell us? It tells us that family background is always very important for children. So, if the family does not support mentally, physically, and emotionally, these developments are not possible for children. So, through this story of Sulekha, also known as Boli, you will be able to understand it. So, let's move on to the story now. Her name was Sulekha, but since her childhood, everyone had been calling her Boli, the simpleton. She was the fourth daughter of Nambardar Ramlal. When she was 10 months old, she had fallen off the cot on her head, and perhaps it had damaged some part of her brain. That was why she remained a backward child and came to be known as Boli the Simpleton. So, the narrator describes a girl named Sulekha. She was the fourth daughter of the Nambardar Ramlal, who was a landlord. Sulekha was called Boli since her childhood. Why was she called Boli? Because she was a simpleton and a slow learner. All this happened because she had fallen on her head from a narrow bed when she was only 10 months old. This had led to damage of some part of her brain and made her a slow learner. At birth, the child was very fair and pretty, but when she was 2 years old, she had an attack of smallpox. Only the eyes were saved, but the entire body was permanently disfigured by deep black pokemarks. Little Sulekha could not speak till she was 5, and when at last she learned to speak, she stammered. Stammered means fumbled for words, not able to speak clearly. The other children often made fun of her and mimicked her. Mimicked means to copy or to imitate. As a result, she talked very little. So, when Boli was born, she was very fair and beautiful. But when the child was 2 years old, she caught smallpox, which left spots on her whole body. Only her eyes were saved from it. She started speaking when she turned 5 and would often fumble. Other children made fun of her and copied her. This made her feel so bad that she stopped speaking. Ramlal had 7 children, 3 sons and 4 daughters, and the youngest of them was Boli. It was a prosperous farmer's household. Prosperous mean well-to-do, doing well. Okay, and there was plenty to eat and drink. All the children except Boli were healthy and strong. So, writer says that Ramlal had 7 children. He was having 3 sons and 4 daughters. And Boli was the youngest child. Ramlal was a rich farmer. He provided the family with good food. All the children were healthy and strong except Boli. The sons had been sent to the city to study in schools and later in colleges. Of the daughters, Radha, the eldest, who had already been married. The second daughter, Mangla's marriage had also been settled. And when that was done, Ramlal would think of the third, Champa. They were good looking, healthy girls, and it was not difficult to find bridegrooms for them. So, Ramlal's sons were sent to the city to study at the schools and colleges. Radha, who was the eldest daughter of Ramlal, she was married. Mangla's marriage had been fixed, and now it was Champa, the third daughter's turn. As all of them were healthy and beautiful girls, it was not tough to marry them off. But Ramlal was worried about Boli. She had neither good looks nor intelligence. So the main concern for Ramlal was Boli because neither was she beautiful or intelligent. It was not an easy thing to find a bridegroom for her. Boli was 7 years old when Mangla was married. The same year, a primary school for girls was opened in their village. the Tehsildar Sahib came to perform its opening ceremony. He said to Ramlal, as a revenue official, you are the representative of the government in the village, and so you must set an example to the villagers. You must send your daughters to school. So, what happened? When Boli was 7 years old, her elder sister Mangla got married. That year, a primary school for girls was opened in the village. The Tehsildar, who was like a district collector, we can say, visited to inaugurate that school. He asked Ramlal to send his daughters to school. He encouraged him to do so because he was the revenue official. This Ramlal was a revenue official. That's why Tehsildar encouraged him to send his daughters to school, as it would serve an example for the villagers if he would send his daughters to the school. This would lead to the education of girls at the village. That night, when Ramlal consulted his wife, she cried, are you crazy? If girls go to school, who will marry them? But Ramlal had not the courage to disobey the Tehsildar. At last, his wife said, I will tell you what to do. Send Boli to school. As it is, there is little chance of her getting married with her ugly face and lack of sense. Let the teachers at school worry about her. So after hearing the Tehsildar, Ramlal discussed the matter with his wife. She at once rejected it by saying that it would become difficult for them to marry their educated daughters. Mean if they would send their daughters to school, then nobody would marry them. Ramlal was now double-minded, as he did not want to disobey the Tehsildar, and on the other hand, his wife was also right. Finally, his wife suggested to send Boli to school, because anyways there were negligible, not even a single chance for her to get married due to her ugly face and lack of sense. And mother commented that the teachers would worry about her at school. The next day, Ramlal caught Boli by the hand and said, come with me, I'll take you to school. Boli was frightened. She did not know what a school was like. She remembered how a few days back the old cow, Lakshmi, had been turned out of the house and sold. No, she shouted in terror and pulled her hand away from her father's grip. So, the next morning, Ramlal took Boli to school. Boli was afraid of going to school as she was not aware of what school was. Boli was reminded that a few days ago their cow, the name of the cow was Lakshmi, had been sent out of the home and her father got money in return for it. She thought that she too would be sold like Lakshmi, and so she pulled her hand out of her father's hand. What's the matter with you, you fool? Shouted Ramlal. I'm only taking you to school. Then he told his wife, let her wear some decent clothes today, or else what will the teachers and the other schoolgirls think of us when they see her? Boli's father got irritated with her behavior and shouted that he was taking her to school. He then told his wife to dress her up because he did not want others to think ill of them, to think bad of them. New clothes had never been made for Boli. The old dresses of her sisters were passed on to her. No one cared to mend or wash her clothes, but today she was lucky to receive a clean dress which had shrunk after many washings and no longer fitted Champa. She was even bathed and oil was rubbed into her dry and matted hair. Only then did she begin to believe that she was being taken to a place better than her home. So what happened? It was for the first time that Boli got clean clothes to wear. Although it was her elder sister Champa's worn out dress, she never got new clothes. New clothes were never made for her. Only the old dresses of her sisters passed on to her. And that day she got clean clothes to wear. She was bathed and her messy hair were washed and they oiled as well. Such a treatment made her believe that she was going to some better place than her home. When they reached the school, the children were already in their classrooms. Ramlal handed over his daughter to the headmistress. Left alone, the poor girl looked about her with fear laden eyes. There were several rooms, and in each room, girls like her squatted on mats, reading from books or writing on slates. The headmistress asked Boli to sit down in a corner in one of the classrooms. So what happened upon reaching school? They found Ramlal and Boli. They found that children were already in their classrooms, and Ramlal handed Boli to the headmistress and left the place. Boli's eyes were full of fear because it was the first time that she had gone out of home. There were a number of classrooms with many students in each one. They were sitting on the mats and were reading or writing. Boli was taken to a classroom and was ordered to sit there by the headmistress. So headmistress ordered Boli to sit in one of the corner of the classroom. Boli did not know what exactly a school was like and what happened there, but she was glad to find so many girls almost of her own age present there. She hoped that one of these girls might become her friend. As Boli was not aware of anything about the school, what made her happy was that there were so many girls of her age. She thought that she may find a friend among these girls. The lady teacher who was in the class was saying something to the girls, but Boli could understand nothing. She looked at the pictures on the wall. The colors fascinated her. The horse was brown, just like the horse on which the Tehsildar had come to visit their village. The goat was black, like the goat of their neighbor. The parrot was green, like the parrots she had seen in the mango orchard. And the cow was just like their Lakshmi. And suddenly, Boli noticed that the teacher was standing by her side, smiling at her. "What's your name, little one?" So, what did Boli see? In the class, the lady teacher was teaching something, but Boli could not understand it. She was just looking at the various pictures on the wall, which were beautiful. Boli was attracted towards those pictures. There was a picture of a brown horse that resembled the horse on which the Tehsildar had visited their village. And there was also a picture of a green parrot which looked like the same parrot as she had seen in the mango orchard. Mango orchard is land planted with mango fruit trees. There was also an image of a cow that resembled their own cow, Lakshmi. While she was busy looking at the pictures, she realized that the teacher was standing near her and she asked Boli her name. Bo, she could stammer no further than that. Then she began to cry and tears flowed from her eyes in a helpless flood. She kept her head down as she sat in her corner, not daring to look up at the girls who she knew were still laughing at her. So when the teacher asked Boli about her name, then Boli tried hard but stammered and could only say Bo. After this, she began to cry and did not dare to look up as she was sure that all the other girls would be laughing at her. When the school bell rang, all the girls scurried ran out of the classroom. But Boli dared not leave her corner. Her head still lowered, she kept on sobbing. Boli, so sobbing means noisy crying, okay? Boli, the teacher's voice was so soft and soothing. In all her life, she had never been called like that. It touched her heart. So, what happened when the school was over? The teacher came to Boli and called her by her name. Boli was still crying with her head down. The teacher's voice was very soft, soothing, and Boli had never been addressed with such affection and love before. She felt so good that it touched her heart. "Get up," said the teacher. It was not a command, but just a friendly suggestion. Boli got up. "Now tell me your name." Sweat broke out over her whole body. Would her stammering tongue again disgrace her? For the sake of this kind woman, however, she decided to make an effort. She had such a soothing voice, she would not laugh at her. Bo, she began to stammer. Well done, the teacher encouraged her. "Come on, now the full name." Bholi. At last she was able to say it and felt relieved as if it was a great achievement. Well done. The teacher patted her affectionately, lovingly, and said, "Put the fear out of your heart and you'll be able to speak like everyone else." Boli looked up as if to ask, "Really?" So the teacher tried to make her comfortable by her friendly manner. She asked her name again. So the teacher asked her name again. Though Boli was hesitant and nervous, she tried and was able to speak her full name. The teacher praised her for her attempt and said that if she shunned fear, if he did not fear, then she would be able to speak clearly. Boli was surprised to hear that she could speak clearly. Yes, it'll be very easy. You just come to school every day. Will you come? Boli nodded. No, say it aloud. Yes, and Boli herself was astonished that she had been able to say it. Didn't I tell you? Now take this book. The book was full of nice pictures, and the pictures were in color: dog, cat, goat, horse, parrot, tiger, and cow, just like Lakshmi. And with every picture was a word in big black letters. So, what happened now? The teacher at once understood Boli's curiosity and said that what she had said was true, and that if she came to school every day, she would be able to speak without any problem. Then she inquired if Boli would come to school the next day. Boli gave her approval by moving her head in up and down direction, that means nod. The teacher prompted her to speak it loudly. This encouraged Boli and she spoke yes clearly. She was surprised. So Boli was also surprised at her ability to speak clearly. The teacher again praised her and gave her a book full of pictures and of dog, cat, goat, etc. with an alphabet written in big size along with every picture. In 1 month, you'll be able to read this book. Then I'll give you a bigger book, then a still bigger one. In time, you'll be more learned than anyone else in the village. Then no one will ever be able to laugh at you. People will listen to you with respect and you'll be able to speak with the slightest stammer. Understand? Now go home and come back early tomorrow morning. So the teacher said that when Boli would complete that book, she would be given a bigger book, and after that a still bigger book. She also told her that one day she would become an educated person in the village and people would respect her because of her knowledge and wisdom. Not only this, she would be able to speak clearly. With this, she asked her to come to school early the next morning. Boli felt as if suddenly all the bells in the village temple were ringing and the trees in front of the schoolhouse had blossomed into big red flowers. Her heart was throbbing with a new hope and a new life. So Boli was very happy. Her heart felt a rare type of happiness and she imagined that she could hear the bells at the temple ringing and imagined that the trees outside the school had red colored flowers on them. She felt a sudden beat in her heart that made her full of hope and happiness. Thus the years passed. The village became a small town. The little primary school became a high school. There were now a cinema under a tin shed and a cotton ginning mill. The mail train began to stop at their railway station. So now what happened? Years passed and the village grew into a small town and her primary school was now a high school. The primary school in which Boli was studying, it became a high school. There was a cinema under a tin shed and a cotton ginning mill opened in her town. Even the mail train started to stop at the village railway station. One night after dinner, Ramlal said to his wife, "Then shall I accept Bishambar's proposal?" "Yes, certainly," his wife said. "Boli will be lucky to get such a well-to-do bridegroom. A big shop, a house of his own, and I hear several thousand in the bank. Moreover, he is not asking for any dowry." "That's right, but he is not so young, almost the same age as I am. And he also limps. Moreover, the children from his first wife are quite grown up." So one night Ramlal was discussing with his wife that he had got a marriage offer for Boli. He asked his wife whether to accept Bishambar's proposal or not. To this, his wife replied that they should definitely accept the proposal because it was suitable for Boli. She supported her view by saying that Bishambar had a big shop, own house, and cash deposit in the bank. Also, he was not asking for dowry. Ramlal was a bit unsure because Bishambar was of his own age and was handicapped as well. He also had grown up children from his first marriage. So, what does it matter? His wife replied, 45 or 50. It is no great age for a man. We are lucky that he is from another village and does not know about her pockmarks and her lack of sense. If we don't accept this proposal, she may remain unmarried for all her life. Yes, but I wonder what Boli will say. What will that witless one say? She is like a dumb cow. Witless means fool. So her mother was addressing Boli as fool. Maybe you are right, muttered Ramlal. In the other corner of the courtyard, Boli lay awake on her cot, listening to her parents' whispered conversations. So when Ramlal told his wife that Bishambar was the same age as of Ramlal, then his wife said that there was no harm in it, and if there was a big age gap between Boli and the groom, it will not harm anything. She said that they could not find any other match for Boli. She also said that as Bishambar was from another village, he may not know about Boli's mental condition and her ugly face. Ramlal said that he was worried that how Boli would react to it, but her mother replied that Boli was like a dumb cow and would not say anything. Boli was lying in her bed nearby and listening to her parents' conversations. So Bishambar Nath was a well-to-do grocer. Grocer means a person who sells household goods and food items. He came with a big party of friends and relations with him for the wedding. A brass band playing a popular tune from an Indian film headed the procession. Procession means parade, that Bharat. Okay, with the bridegroom riding a decorated horse. Ramlal was overjoyed to see such pomp and splendor. Then he had never dreamt that his fourth daughter would have such a grand wedding. Boli's elder sisters, who had come for the occasion, were envious, were jealous of her luck. So, what happened? The bridegroom Bishambar Nath was a rich man. He had a grocery shop where he used to sell food items and household goods. He had a good business. On the wedding day, Bishambar came with his friends and family. They were playing a popular they were accompanied by a brass band and which was playing a popular tunes from Hindi movies. The bridegroom was riding, so Bishambar was riding a decorated horse, and Ramlal was very happy to see all this. Ramlal had never dreamt such a grand wedding for his fourth daughter. Boli's elder sisters felt jealous of her good luck. When the auspicious moment came, the priest said, "Bring the bride." Auspicious means favorable or good. Boli, clad in red silken bridal dress, was led to the bride's place near the sacred fire. So, clad in red silken, clad here means dressed. Garland bride, one of his friends prompted Bishambar Nath. So, on the wedding day, Boli was brought for the wedding rituals. She was dressed in a red silk sari. When she reached, one of Bishambar's friends asked him to garland the bride. The bridegroom lifted the garland of yellow marigolds. A woman slipped back the silken veil from the bride's face. Bishambar took a quick glance. The garland remained poised in his hands. The bride slowly pulled down the veil over her face. "Have you seen her?" said Bishambar to the friend next to him. "She has poke marks on her face." "So what? You're not young either." "Maybe, but if I am to marry her, her father must give me 5,000 rupees. So what happened? As Bishambar was going to garland the bride, he was about to put the garland around her neck. A woman removed the veil that covered her face. He saw the blemishes on her face, that poke marks on her face, and at once objected to the marks on the bride's face. His friend answered that he should ignore this as he himself was not young to marry a young girl like her. Bishambar told Ramlal that if he wanted to marry his daughter with Bishambar, then he must give 5,000 rupees in return. So here Bishambar, the bridegroom, led a condition that he would marry Boli only in case if he would be given, if Ramlal would give him 5,000 rupees. Ramlal went and placed his turban, his honor, at Bishambar's feet. Do not humiliate me so. Take 2,000 rupees, humiliate me in insult. No, 5,000 or we go back. Keep your daughter. Be a little considerate, please. If you go back, I can never show my face in the village. Considerate means thoughtful. On hearing the bridegroom's demand, on hearing Bishambar's demand, Ramlal got so upset that he went to him and kept his turban at his feet. He requested him to be considerate and requested him to accept 2,000 rupees instead of 5,000 as dowry. Bishambar was firm and said that he could keep his daughter at home then. Ramlal requested him not to do all this as it would ruin his pride in front of the whole village. Then out with 5,000. Tears streaming down his face, Ramlal went in, opened the safe and counted out the notes. He placed the bundle at the bridegroom's feet. So what happened? As we know, Bishambar was adamant on his demand of 5,000 rupees. Ramlal went inside and brought 5,000 rupees from the safe and counted the money and handed it over to Bishambar and kept it in his feet at the bridegroom's feet. On Bishambar's greedy face appeared a triumphant smile. He had gambled and won. Give me the garland, he announced. So, what happened when Ramlal gave money to Bishambar? He became very happy because he had won the bet. He asked for the garland and he was ready for the marriage. Once again, the veil was slipped back from the bride's face, but this time her eyes were not downcast. She was looking up, looking straight at her prospective husband. Prospective means would-be husband. And in her eyes there was neither anger nor hate, only cold contempt. Contempt means disrespect or disregard. Bishambar raised the garland to place it round the bride's neck, but before he could do so, Boli's hand struck out like a streak of lightning and the garland was flung into the air, into the fire. She got up and threw away the veil. So what happened? Now Boli removed the cover of her face and stared at Bishambar. Her eyes were full of disrespect for him. There was no anger or hatred in her eyes. As Bishambar was about to garland her, she struck her hand at the garland as quick as a streak of lightning. The garland flew and fell into the sacred fire. She threw away her veil too. Pitaji, said Boli in a clear, loud voice, and her father, mother, sisters, brothers, relations, and neighbors were startled, amazed to hear her speak without even the slightest stammer. Pitaji, take back your money. I'm not going to marry this man. So, what happened now? Boli addressed her father by saying Pitaji. Her voice was clear and she spoke without stammering. Her family was shocked to see this. She continued and said that her father should take back his money as she would not marry this man. Ramlal was thunderstruck. The guests began to whisper, so shameless, so ugly, and so shameless. Boli, are you crazy? Shouted Ramlal. You want to disgrace your family? Have some regard for our izzat. For the sake of your izzat, said Boli, I was willing to marry this lame old man, but I will not have such a mean, greedy, and contemptible, offensive coward as my husband. I won't. So, here what happened? Ramlal was also shocked to hear all that. Even the relatives started whispering that the girl was shameless as she was refusing to marry. Ramlal grew angry and shouted at Boli that she had gone mad because such an act of her could bring disgrace to their family. Boli replied that it was for the sake of her family's honor that she had consented. She agreed to marry the lame old man, but she was not ready to marry a greedy coward, and she refused to marry Bishambar. What a shameless girl! We all thought she was a harmless dumb cow. Bolly turned violently on the old woman. Yes, auntie, you are right. You all thought I was a dumb driven cow. That's why you wanted to hand me over to this heartless creature. But now the dumb cow, the stammering fool, is speaking. Do you want to hear more? Bishambarnath the grocer started to go back with his party. The confused bandsman thought that this was the end of the ceremony and struck up a closing song. So, what happened now? An old woman commented that Boli was a shameless girl, though they all thought that she was a dull and innocent girl. Boli looked at her with extreme anger and said that everyone thought that she was a fool, and that is why they wanted to marry her off to an unkind man. They called her shameless because she could take a stand for herself. Bishambarnath and his friends and family started to return, and the bandsmen, they were not sure of what was happening. They thought that the marriage ceremony had completed and so started playing the music related to the ending of the wedding ceremony. Ramlal stood rooted to the ground, his head bowed low with the weight of grief and shame. The flames of the sacred fire slowly died down. Everyone was gone. Ramlal turned to Boli and said, "But what about you? No one will ever marry you now. What shall we do with you?" So Ramlal stood rooted to the ground, and he was in deep sorrow and he was feeling ashamed. The flames of the sacred fire died after some time, and the guests too went away. The Ramlal then asked Boli what would be her future now and who would marry her. And Sulekha said in a voice that was calm and steady, "Don't you worry, Pitaji. In your old age, I'll serve you and mother, and I'll teach in the same school where I learned so much. Isn't that right, ma'am?" Then Boli replied, the Sulekha replied that she would take care of both her parents and would teach in the same school that had made her learn so much. She sought approval from her teacher. The teacher had all along stood in a corner watching the drama. "Yes, Boli, of course," she replied, and in her smiling eyes was the light of deep satisfaction that an artist feels when contemplating the completion of a masterpiece. Contemplating means observe. So, when Boli sought approval from a teacher who was quietly watching all the drama, she approved Boli's statement. She was deeply satisfied with Boli's response to the whole situation. It was similar to the way an artist feels when he sees his masterpiece once it is complete. In the same way, the same happiness can be seen on the face of teacher when she looked at Boli, because a girl who came to her who was full of fear, who was not able to speak properly, was now became a bold, bright and a wise girl. So she was feeling happy by looking at her masterpiece. So now you understand why it is important for the family to give the hand, to have a hand in helping hand in the growth of a child. It is only the family who is responsible for the healthy mental and physical growth of the child. So Boli was not taken care by the family. She was left alone. She was a simpleton and she was put to school by chance. But then the teacher was the one who gave her the complete care and taught her everything and made her into a wise girl. So this was all there in the chapter Boli. Hope you got the chapter. Thank you.